Call this meeting of Evendale Council to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll take the roll.
Mr. Sextro.
Here.
Ms. McDaniel. Here. Mr. Putoff.
Here.
Ms. Smiley Robertson.
Here.
Mr. Patterson.
Here.
Mr. Burke.
Here.
Okay, we're going to begin with a semi-good event, bad event. Captain Murray, will you, who has the, you please step forward? We have a proclamation for you in honor of your years of service with the village and your retirement. So let me read. Whereas Bob Murray, hired on September 22nd, 2003, to serve the village of Evendale in the capacity of firefighter paramedic, was promoted to lieutenant on August 2009, and was promoted to captain in June 2012, is retiring from the Evendale Fire Department as of January 12, 2024. Whereas Bob Murray's tour of duty constitute 20 years of loyalty and dedication to the Evendale Fire Department, its residents. He started his career as a volunteer and has dedicated more than 44 years of service to fire and EMS profession. Whereas Mr. Murray has received numerous letters of commendation and recognition from his peers, supervisors, and the public in his career. He has dedicated a myriad of hours to conducting administrative efforts for the department EMS operation while continuing to keep the department's status and compliance with the state of Ohio. Whereas Bob Murray has spent countless hours teaching others to become paramedics throughout the region for several organizations. His love of teaching carries on through the department as he sharpened his skills of each of our members with his abilities, as well as sitting on numerous committees for the department, county, state, on EMS issues. Whereas Bob Murray shares this honor with his wife Mary and their blended family. Whereas it is appropriate to recognize Captain Bob Murray, for his many years of devotion, care, and time while employed by the village of Evendale and for his service to the village. Now therefore, I, Richard H. Finan, Mayor of the Village of Evendale, Ohio, and on behalf of the Village Council, fellow employees, residents, and business establishments of the village, offer sincere thanks, appreciation, and best wishes to Bob Murray in his retirement. And I have signed this proclamation on the appropriate day and time.
Thanks, sir.
I was always happy to see you show up. Not that the rest of them aren't wonderful, but somebody had to show up, yes.
Don't go away. We have a parting gift.
Okay, now you're done. You're making our document. The village council, fellow employees, and residents offer sincere thanks and appreciation for your service and commitment to the village of Evendale. This will fit into the work study just beautifully. Thank you, guys.
Well, turn it over. That's the
real side.
real. You read the back. Make sure you hang it.
Now you gotta hang it.
Yeah, don't hang it.
So which way is he gonna hang it?
back. He's gonna.
That's right.
Go to his house and be hanging it back.
You can put hooks on both sides and rotate it every week.
All right. Make sure the chief gets that.
Now we'll go to the minutes. They've been previously distributed to council. Are there any additions, corrections, or changes? If not, could I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Putoff.
Yes.
Mr. Sextro.
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel.
Yes.
Ms. A. Robertson.
Yes.
Mr. Patterson.
Yes.
Mr. Burke.
Yes.
Be all in favor, or be all ayes, the minutes are passed. Next, we are committee reports, and we'll go to the Finance Committee.
Okay.
Mr. Burke.
Yep. So, Red Tree, Jennifer Tobridge came in from Red Tree and presented to us at our last meeting. Also, taxes for January 2024 were $1,684,000, which is an increase of $229,000 over January of '23. So they continue to climb, and it looks like we are heading in the right direction over the years of COVID. So, Gorman Heritage Farm Summer Camp opened registration on the 8th of this month, and community events are doing well. Matter of fact, Goat Yoga, which I've never heard of before, which is sold out. Also, the Acres and GHF are putting on a hiking trail event. And then on to recreation. Recreation Department has contracted with the company to take care of all the machines. So they will be doing this on a regular basis, and the machines should stay in good working order. The maintenance will be done, preventive maintenance will be done on a quarterly basis. And Phase 3 designs of the center will be started sometime this year. Eric Fortner is working on that. Snow Much Fun was an incredible success. It's over 500 attendees. And the Phi Lambda Pi went down to Gatlinburg and all made it back safely. Had a great time. And then service and engineer, some people may be a little bit disappointed to see the large tree taken down on the south end of the recreation center. This came down because it was dying, as well as it was uprooting the blacktop and the sidewalks. And so it had lived its useful life, and it will be hard to do. We'll find another tree moving forward. Departments hope to hire summer season hires, and we'll be advertising soon. April 20th marked this day. This is Shred Day, so this is for all electronics, equipment, computer stuff, paints and other chemicals, as well as paper, old taxes, and things like that. Revised plan for the service building is expected coming up. They're moving the location. And then the elevator, hopefully moving forward on the elevator at the Cultural Arts Center, and is budgeted in 2024. Kingsport, for any residents living in that area, Kingsport will be resurfaced at no cost. There were problems, defective issues with the asphalt, and so they will be fixing that. And also the entrance of Park Hills, that's going to be coming out sometime soon, or being redone sometime, and hopefully this starts warming up. We have a couple of issues on the zoning that we'll be handling tonight, and then I think, so I think that's basically it. Yep, continued enforcement on a couple of properties. The Frisch's lot on the next to Sharonville, and then there's one on the main square, and also Village Crossing, and also Homer's. So that's moving along. Okay, that's all.
Any questions, comments? Okay, we will, that'll conclude that report. We will go to Fire and Police.
Okay. I'm going to start with fire. Our new fire marshal has already proven quite successful. We conducted 34 initial inspections and 5 re-inspections, which yielded 139 violations, 22 of which have been repaired. He also completed a hydrostatic test, and there were 5 plan reviews conducted, so he's off to a great start. Thank you so much. Also, there was a fire at GE last month, which had a $500,000 fire loss. So, and I think that concluded fire's report. On the police side, Chief reported that the new cruisers are costing us less than expected, and so we asked if the remaining capital funds that we aren't spending, if that could be used to replace the clerk-to-cruiser communication system, which is experiencing issues, which shouldn't be surprising since it hasn't been replaced since 1988, and the committee concurred with using the funds for that. There's a new firearms and sighting system in use, and one of our newer officers, Caitlin Leslie, will become one of our new firearms training instructors. Her certification won't be complete until next year, but she's going to become one of the instructors. Okay. And the department will be contacting residents, or may already have contacted. Will be, okay, contacting residents who were affected by the Christmas Day shooting. They'll be contacted via email to try to give them an opportunity to provide victim impact statements.
Yeah, we also have something in the
In the
newsletter also.
Yes, yes. Cultural arts programming continues to be very successful. January sessions were well attended. We're increasing rates for classes in 2024. Bill Parrish, who's a local artist who was raised in Glendale, and actually I went to high school with him, or at least one of his brothers, will be doing a Black History Month artist chat this Sunday, February 18th from 3 to 5 at the Rec Center. Art Ventures this month will be to 10,000 Villages store tour with lunch at Deshays Tavern on Friday, February 23rd. And I forgot to check this, but are there still places available? One.
One left.
One. Get there first if you want it. And Ms. Gorey's working on a facilities guidelines for groups that rent the theater. Moving on to building, planning, and zoning, we have the reading of an ordinance on tonight's agenda. Also, there will be there was a public hearing held on the zoning text amendment for mobile retail food establishment, otherwise known as food trucks. And this was so that residents could come and voice their opinions, and we'd like that continue. You know, that process is an ongoing process if people have comments. 2023 was a really good year for building activity in Evendale. GE Aerospace renovated their global headquarters campus. We issued 55 building permits with $32 million in estimated valuation for those improvements. This is up from 2022 when they invested over $7.9 million in campus updates. Village-wide, we issued 245 permits as opposed to 190 in 2022, and residential home renovations were strong with 80 residential permits issued. So we're seeing a positive building trend continue in the village. And in January, we issued 11 building permits with an estimated construction cost of $8.5 million. And that's a report.
Any additions, corrections, comments? That will conclude that report. I just have one thing. The ICRC met this month, or last month. Subscriptions of service companies of Spectrum and Ultra Fiber continue to go down. They're down 3% for Spectrum and 2% for Ultra Fiber. I just want everybody to understand that this eventually is going to affect that service because that's how they get paid. And but the people are more and more people are cutting the cord, and that's less people who are involved with that. So that's the extent of my comments in this situation. Anybody else have anything else? All right, let's go to the ordinances then. We'll have ordinance 24-03 for the, and I ask for permission to read it by title only.
Do you want to discuss it first?
No, let's read it first.
Okay.
Read it by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
An ordinance amending various sections of the Evendale Code of Ordinances regarding single-family dwellings and residential retail property and declaring it as an emergency. And I've asked Mark to come up and explain a bit about where the ordinance stands now.
All right. Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to kind of talk about this ordinance and kind of discuss it, where we've been, how we got here, talk about some of the history, why we're making the changes, and get into some of the detail about what the ordinance is asking you to approve. So, as you know, Evendale is a little unique. We have one residential zoning district, and that's for our single-family residents here in Evendale. We do not permit or define any other residential zoning districts that you might see in other communities, things like single-family attached, two families, multifamilies, or even mixed use, which would be single-family and commercial development in a single zoning district. So we don't have any of that. We are strictly a single-family community. We also have a long-standing history of maintaining the high-quality single-family residential districts that we do have through the use of our zoning code, property maintenance code, and rental registration program. As you know, those are living, breathing documents. Sometimes they do require updates as we see things that may not have been anticipated when they were first adopted. So this is one of those cases where we are proposing amendments to the zoning code to address some issues that staff kind of started to identify back in 2023, kind of early. We started seeing some trends that we thought might impact our single-family residential housing stock here in Evendale. Those kind of include the commercialization of single-family homes. That's corporations coming in, buying a whole swath of homes and using them for rental properties for the intents of making money, not as single-family homes. Renting of single-family homes with multiple tenants. Short-term rentals are become very popular, Airbnbs. Those would be using single-family homes as vacation destinations, as things like that. And then corporate housing. So as a corporation sometimes it tends to buy a house if their employees, clients, or contractors need to travel a lot. It seems to be more cost-effective for them to just buy a house and put them up in those corporate housings units. So again, that would go against our zoning code. So after reviewing some of these things we've been seeing as national trends, the mayor asked staff to kind of look at our existing zoning codes to make sure that we can maintain the quality and character of our existing single-family neighborhoods. So we did that. We reviewed our current code. We went a step further, reviewed other jurisdictions' codes that are similar to Evendale, see what their kind of thoughts and trends are, and see if they've made similar changes to the ones we're proposing tonight. And then staff kind of put all those suggestions and ideas together. Well, through that review, we did identify some areas of our code where we could strengthen it to help maintain our single-family communities. We brought those forward to the Planning Commission in it was August of 2023. So we actually had 4 separate public hearings all through the Planning Commission regarding this. During that process, we got some great input from Planning Commission members. We got some great input from residents. A few came to every single meeting, gave us some great ideas, some great thoughts that we didn't think of as staff. And I guess I should also mention through this process, David Elmer, who can't be here tonight, was very instrumental. He did a lot of the research on other communities. I think he even called a couple of other directors to see what their kind of take is on some of these trends that we've been seeing, see if what the impacts to their communities were. He attended every meeting, participated, we got some great input from him. And we even had meetings separate for residents. We invited them in as they brought up concerns during those meetings that were kind of too big to tackle in a public forum. We brought them in to talk one-on-one, kind of discuss how we can fold those into these suggestions, what we can do to address their concerns, things like that. So, after all that, we did kind of come up with the recommendations that are before you today, and we do feel that those 7 amendment recommendations will help to emphasize and clarify the single-family residential character of the existing Village of Evendale's housing stock. As noted in the ordinance itself, the Planning Commission did make a recommendation for approval on November 21st, 2023. If you look at the actual amendment that's before you, you'll see we are proposing to amend 2 of our existing definitions as they relate to single-family dwelling units and single-family homes. And we are proposing to add 4 new definitions. If you look at the actual text, we have struck out in red everything that is existing in the code that we would like to take out. Everything in green would be what is added. And then everything in the normal black text is what will stay as is. It's in the existing code now and as is. So that's kind of where we are. That's where we've been with this. So I'd like to open up to questions if anybody has specific questions about each amendment. I will note that our law director, Kathy Bryan, has reviewed all the language, helped us put it together, and Chairman Patterson, Councilman Patterson, did chair the Planning Commission, so they both probably have some great input as well if you have questions.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
I would just note that there's 1 deletion and 11 additions to help clarify.
Okay, thank you.
If I could, just a quick comment. I want to thank a couple of people along the way who put in an enormous amount of effort in this. Mark Elma and Dave Elmer, as he mentioned. I'd like to thank the other members of the Planning Commission, particularly village residents. We had a significant, Noelle and her husband are back in the back, and we appreciate them coming again. We had significant help from Mr. Vonderhaar, Mr. Lohmeyer, talking about how to do and structure the rental registration program in such a way that it does not provide any particular onus on people who are renting their properties out, and how to best do that to their advantage as well. It took a lot of effort to do this. It's an incredibly hard balancing act between trying to limit the negative uses of a couple of people and yet protect the uses of people who legitimately want to rent their homes. I think we've done a nice job threading that needle. The thing for all of us in the room to think about is that this is an ongoing discussion, and don't think of this as something that is done forever. We'll probably need to come back in the next couple of years and make minor modifications here and there. Don't view that as a failure. View that as just the way these kinds of things ought to work. But I'm incredibly grateful for all the folks who took the time to come in and put their 2 cents in and forward this to all of us.
Thank you. Mr. and Ms. Mounts, you have anything to add? Okay. Anybody, anything else? Okay, then we will need a motion to suspend the second and third reading of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Me. Carolyn and myself.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Now we need a motion to adopt the emergency clause of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Now we need a motion to adopt the ordinance as an emergency.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
I now declare ordinance 24-03 adopted as an emergency. Next is ordinance 24-4. I'd like permission to read it by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing the payment of amounts due upon certain contracts requiring certification of the availability of funds and declaring it as an emergency. I'd like a motion to suspend the second and third reading of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Now I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Now I need a motion to adopt the ordinance as an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Burke? Ms.
Yes.
Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
I now declare ordinance 2404 adopted as an emergency. Next, we have ordinance 2405. I'd like permission to read it by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
An ordinance to authorize the mayor to enter into a loan agreement with Enable Injections, Inc., providing job retention, economic incentives, and declaring it as an emergency. I've asked Dr. McKinnon, who is the head of our CIC, to make a few comments about the ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor, and members of council. This village is unique in many ways, and one of the examples of our uniqueness is the success of this company, Enable Injections. Enable Injections is currently the startup that has acquired the greatest amount of capital support in the Cincinnati area. And with its projected growth, there are rumblings out there that it could become Ohio's first decacorn. A unicorn is a company that is a startup that becomes worth $1 billion. Enable may become worth $10 billion in the foreseeable future. I think most of you know Enable and what it does. It's across from the Ford plant on Sharon Road on the Evendale side. They have, for a number of years now, been manufacturing drug delivery devices and other biological fluid delivery devices. They have a number of patents on those. Mike Hoven, the CEO, also has some other companies that have done similar work, and his background and his other main staffers' background is in this field. They've done a great deal of work about this, and during 2023, they were successful in getting FDA approval for their new drug delivery device. They have several others in the works with applications to FDA for approval on those, as well as a number of patents. They're going great guns. A couple of years ago, we began talking, well, we talk with them regularly, but we began hearing from them that they might want to expand and that they might need a big space. We were prepared to offer to them the large lot we have over in Arrowhub. This is a company that certainly fits the definition of advanced manufacturing. It's a little different from what we think of in terms of gears and jet engines and that sort of thing, but it is indeed advanced manufacturing. They kept things very close to the vest. Let us know that they were looking at least 3 sites, one of which was in Evendale. They finally came back and said, we've decided to build our production operation in Westchester, but we want to keep all of our administrative functions that support that in Evendale. And so they proposed to expand the site, expand the building on their site in Evendale, and a lot of the production work will migrate to Westchester. The great thing for us is that those administrative jobs are high-paying jobs. They currently have around 200 employees. Mike Hoven has projected that they will probably double soon. What proportion of those are within Evendale remains to be seen, but you can expect that it'll be somewhere between 20 and 40%, I would guess, maybe more. When we talked to them, they said they wanted to expand in their current location. They came to us through their consultant, KMK, and said, we'd like a financial incentive from Evendale to remain in Evendale to help us build our expansion. This is an unusual request for us or for a village of our size to take on, and certainly most of the financial incentives we give to companies are to attract them to Evendale, not to keep one from leaving. That said, I think from what I've already told you, you can see that Enable Injections is an exceptional company. It's one of our top 5 tax income base. They have demonstrated phenomenal growth, as I mentioned, and ability to acquire capital, as I mentioned. We have every reason to think that they're going to be successful and that we'd be better off with them, keeping them here, than having them choose to go somewhere else. So they've asked us for a loan agreement in the amount of $1 million. I'm sorry, did that get amended to 1.25? No, it's $1 million. We have spent the past number of weeks, all of us on the CIC and CIC subcommittee, and certainly including Dave Elmer and our consultant, Sean Balness. And we really thank Kathy and your office for all the support in working out. We have negotiated an agreement with Enable with the goal of keeping them here in Evendale for at least 10 years. We would front them the $1 million payment in 3 sections, which is explained in the accompanying materials you have with the ordinance. A $400,000 loan in the first year, another one in the second year, and then a third one of $200,000 to be paid later on, probably in the 7th year. Their obligation would be to meet certain requirements that we have laid out in terms of numbers of jobs, amount of income, and so forth. And there are provisions, of course, for events beyond anyone's control. But the idea is that this would be binding on Enable Injections and the Village of Evendale, but it would also be binding on successors to Enable Injections. Since they look so promising, it wouldn't be a surprise if they get bought by somebody bigger. And in fact, in their latest development venture, they have been partnering with Sanofi, who's one of Big Pharma, and Blackstone Investing. I think you're getting the picture here that we see this rolling forward. They may not remain in their current incarnation, but if we can keep them and their successors and that tax base here in Evendale, it'll be of a great advantage to the village, we believe. So the CIC is recommending that council take this unusual matter under consideration, and let's keep Enable Injections in Evendale. I'll be happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Any questions or comments? Outstanding presentation, Doctor.
Thank you, sir.
Very good, very good.
There's a lot of information. I think most of you've seen it in the packet. Also, I think Chris sent around some recent Cincinnati Business Courier articles about how successful Enable is being. Thank you.
There is one, like a typo error in the agreement that I'd like somebody to move that we can correct. It says 25 million and it should be 22,701 and some change million. So if I could have a motion.
I move that we make the correction to section 5, paragraph B, where it says 25 million, and change that number to, per the Exhibit A, to $22,172,045.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Now may I have a motion to suspend the second and third reading of the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Now I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Now I need a motion to adopt the ordinance as an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro? Ms.
Yes.
Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
I now declare ordinance 24-05 adopted as an emergency. And this was
Mayor, do you want to say that it will go into effect July 1st?
July 1st of
This year.
2024.
In 10 years from now?
And this is a big deal for the village of Evendale, but I think we're doing the right thing here. Okay, next is ordinance 24-06. I'd like to read it by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to hire Renee Boswell as a part-time child care attendant for the Recreation Department and declaring it as an emergency. May I have a motion to suspend the second and third reading of the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Now I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Now I need a motion to adopt the ordinance as an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel? Ms.
Yes.
Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
I now declare ordinance 24-06 adopted as an emergency. Is there any other business to come before council tonight?
Just a quickie thank you. Mr. Harwood and Dr. McKinnon have put in an enormous amount of effort that is not required nor expected in shepherding the enable injections agreement through. It took a lot of persistence and it took a lot of extra work, and we're grateful for the time.
And so has that councilman put in a tremendous amount of work as well.
Well, let me thank the entire CIC subcommittee.
That's right.
And all the people that support it.
That's right. I
You
mean,
put a lot of extra time.
we've worked on this for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and one iteration after another have come through from the attorneys. It's seen a lot of work and thought went into the preparation of this agreement. If not, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Sextro? Ms.
Yes.
McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Putoff?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley Robertson?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Council will stand adjourned.